Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're here with part 26 of our F1 2021 MyTeam career mode. This time out we'll be at the French Grand Prix. Last time out we were in Canada, and spoiler alert in case you haven't seen that video yet, we did pretty well to finish in P3. We were unfortunately unable to get the win after we had some pit stop issues, having to get an unplanned front wing change, but we were able to work our way back towards the front of the field and overtook our teammate Carlos Sainz for the last spot on the podium on the last lap. You can see, little look at the Drivers' Championship. Lando Norris leads the way ahead of Verstappen. Ourselves, we are in 6th and Sainz is in 8th. So far, after 5 races, we have 5 different winners. So yeah, this season is looking to be very, very competitive as we head into France. Everyone is super close. And yeah, there's obviously a lot of opportunity for other drivers to still get their first win of the season. Bottas hasn't won yet. Gasly was doing very well in Canada and very much could have gotten his first win of the season, I guess. And Sainz, obviously in the same car as us, can go for a win. We've got a couple upgrades coming in for this round to help boost our car performance, so hopefully we can sort of get ahead of the pack a little bit. Maybe we've been very, very close to the front of the field over the last couple of rounds, so hopefully this is enough to push us forward. As you can see, looking at the performance chart, we are pretty much bang on equal with Mercedes heading into the French Grand Prix here. We've got a little bit of a gap to McLaren and Red Bull behind, but this performance chart is very, very zoomed in on where it starts at in Season 1, so that little gap there is actually like incredibly small. That I don't think it'd really make too much of a difference when it comes to race time. So really, it's the 4 of us up front, and Ferrari is just sort of trailing behind a little bit. They're slowly closing in, but yeah, at the moment it's looking at a front 4 battle there in the constructors fight. So as we move into qualifying, hopefully pace is good around here. Last time out, when we were here in Season 1, I finished in P6, and that was obviously in a car that was nowhere near as far up the field as this season's car is. As we head on to the end of our first qualifying lap here, you can see getting it wasn't the best lap as we head down the straight. A lot of mistakes on this lap as we cross the line, and it's only enough for P5. It's only half a tenth off of Carlos Sainz, so not bad, and it does end up being a P5 as we head to the end of the session. No one else actually went out on a qualifying lap, so it's going to stay P5 for us there. Bottas gets provisional pole. As I was saying, Bottas could very well win this weekend and make it 6 winners in 6 races, so that'd be really interesting to see as we head through into Q2. Nobody, surprisingly, went out on mediums for this, so I'm going to have to just follow through with what everyone else has done and go on the softs to make sure we go through to Q3. And we actually do set the fastest time of Q2 there, and Sainz was 2nd place behind us, so it looks like our pace is pretty good around this track. But obviously everyone else is going out for a 2nd lap, and yeah, we're going to have to go for a 2nd lap ourselves as we're now pushed down to P6. But just look at this massive tow we get from Fernando Alonso down the main straight here. We're actually down a bit heading onto the straight, but that tow there allows us to go back into the green as we head into the chicane that basically splits the main straight into 2 parts. And you can see Lando Norris ahead also giving us a bit of a tow. We're now 4 tenths up as we set a purple 2nd sector, so just these tows alone has gained us half a second now as we head through the sweeping right-hander. But then Lando holds us up through this whole 3rd sector. He just didn't get out of the way. He's not on a qualifying lap here, so I'm not sure why he didn't get out of the way, but you can see he is holding us up. We've lost a bit of time. We've lost practically, I want to say 2 tenths of a second by this point. You can see he dives into the pit lane at the end of the lap here, but we're still up by about 4 tenths heading through the final corner now, making sure to get on the power nice and early, not losing the rear of the car. And we're going to come across the line half a second up, and it's going to put us in P1 there in Q2, and Sainz also manages to go back to P2 as well, so looking very, very good for our team here in France in Q2, but we're just going to have to translate that through to Q3 and then hopefully through to the race. So as we head through the final corner now to finish off our first qualifying lap, we're the only ones to have not set a lap yet, and we cross the line. It's actually not a great lap. You can see we stay in P10. We're 7 tenths off of Max Verstappen in P6, so we're absolutely going to have to go for another lap. That was on worn softs, but this time out we are on fresh, brand new softs that, yeah, these are the Q3 supplied softs that you only get if you do make it to Q3. You can see very nice through turns 1 and 2 there. We're about a tenth up as we head into turn number 3, 4 and 5. This very, I want to say tricky. Once you get the hang of it, it is a very, I don't want to say easy, but it's a very flowing section of track. As we head onto the back straight, we're about 3.5 tenths up, and no toes this time around from any other cars. It is just ourselves. As we head towards the end of the straight, you can see we've gone purple in the first 2 sectors. We're 4 tenths up as we head into the long right-hander here, making sure to maximise the track here, get on the power nice and early in 5th gear, make sure we don't spin up the rears, and then we head through the final corner. Now we're about a second up on our last time. As we come across the line, we've set 2 purple sectors. Where are we going to be placed after qualifying here? It's going to be P4, about 2.5 tenths off of Daniel Ricciardo, who takes pole position here. But you can see he had a 2/10 gap over Hamilton. So the gap between Hamilton, Bottas and myself is only 0.02 of a second. So very, very close in qualifying. When you get rid of Ricciardo's time there, he did a very, very good lap to get that pole position. Signs in P6 as well. It's time to move on to the race.
Hello and welcome to the Circuit Paul Ricard, current home of the French Grand Prix, an event dating all the way back to 1906. It's been held at many venues over the years, with famous moments from Dijon and Manicourt the feature of many a highlights reel. And let's hope we see more of those in the race today. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Daniel Ricciardo has a clear view ahead from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Benjamin, Lando Norris and Sainz, Perez, Leclerc, Vettel and Max Verstappen, Gasly, Fernando Alonso, Kimi Raikkonen and Stroll, Ocon, Giovinazzi, George Russell and Nicholas Latifi, Matsushita, Mick Schumacher, Mazepin and Yuki Tsunoda. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
After the points finish last race, let's aim to keep the momentum going.
So here we are, sitting on the grid for the French Grand Prix, and no penalties to speak of for anyone around us. So we are going to be starting in P4, Sainz is in P6, and Daniel Ricciardo is on pole position. Those are the main takeaways from the sort of grid rundown. At the moment, we've got both the Mercedes ahead of us, which obviously is a car that, according to the performance cheat, is equal to us in performance. The McLarens definitely seem to be on pace as well. So yeah, it looks like we're going to have a very, very interesting fight as we go into the race. We want to make up as many points as possible. We're not completely in the championship fight as the 5 red lights come on and we all rev up the engines, and we are underway for the French Grand Prix, and it's actually a pretty good start. You can see we get right in behind Lewis Hamilton though, but we are sort of boxed in between the 2 Mercedes, and we've got Lando Norris to our left as well. As we head into turn 1, we're going to go around the Brit in the McLaren, and we do hold on to P4 there, and Ricciardo's had a great start and he's pulled right away from Lewis Hamilton in 2nd place. Ricciardo obviously trying to get himself further up in the championship fight after having a poor couple of last races, as Lando goes for a very late lunge there through turn 5, and that actually makes us lose a bunch of time to the cars behind, and already we're about a second away from the Mercedes now, and Hamilton's about a second away from Daniel Ricciardo. So the very front fight here is starting to sort of break apart a little bit as Lando Norris comes up alongside us as we head into the chicane. He is down the inside and he does get the position on us, and you can see Sergio Perez trying to stick his nose in there. We sort of have to just move to the left a bit and open up the steering to make sure we don't have any sort of damage there. But looking behind, Carlos Sainz is going to get a good run on Perez behind, and he's going to go side by side through the flat out section there as they head into the long right-hander, and Sainz is going to get ahead, is he? Yes, he does. Sainz up into P6 now, and he's the next car behind us, so hopefully he can sort of hold up the cars behind, but obviously we want him to do well as well, so hopefully Sainz has the pace he should do. In Q2, obviously, we were 1-2 and very close to each other in pace, and we were pretty close to each other throughout the whole of qualifying, so hopefully he's able to do well. Signs as he yet to even get a podium so far this season. I believe his best finishing position is P4, and that might have been Bahrain. So hopefully Signs can make some moves and get himself further up the grid. Obviously, we want him in the championship fight as well, as he needs to sort of do his part in the Constructors' Championship. But you can see, just having a little look through the field here, everyone sort of seems to have settled for their position. You can see there's Max Verstappen, the previous race winner from Canada. He's very far back. He's got Pierre Gasly right behind him in P11. And yeah, not too much to speak of in terms of battles at the moment. Everyone sort of just seems to be getting through the race, looking ahead. Not much happening, but as we head down the back straight now, we are closing right in on Lando Norris, and I want to get this position back. So we're going to dive to the inside, are we? No, not quite. We're just going to have to sit behind and wait and bide our time as we head through the chicane. Now we get a good run out of the corner. We're going to use our ERS. We are right under the wing of the McLaren. We're going to pull to the right-hand side, just like Sainz did to Perez last time out. We're going to go flat out side by side through the right hand as we head into the long, very sweeping turn 11, and Lando bows out there and just sort of lets us through, as I guess he doesn't want to get any damage either. It's very, very early stages in the race, so anything can still happen at this point. You can see trying to stay in high gears here to make sure we don't spin up the rears and get too much wheel spin, because we want to make sure these tyres last. The quickest pit stop strategy around here is to do a 1-stop, and as it stands we are going to have to do a 2-stop, but if a safety car comes out, we want to give ourselves the opportunity to do a 1-stop, as Lando Norris comes up alongside us with DRS there on the beginning of lap 4, and he's very easily through before turn 1. So once again we're going to have to sit behind the McLaren and try and find a way through as we head down towards turn 3. Not quite close enough to go for a move into here, just trying to use as much curb as possible and keep right on the back of the McLaren and sort of just try and fight the dirty air that we are in right now as we head through turns 6 and 7 as we head on to the back straight. We do have DRS, so hopefully we're able to close right up to the back of the McLaren down the straight. We've got Carlos Sainz just behind us as well, so we have to make sure we don't make too many mistakes or slow each other up too much, because he'll just come straight through on the both of us as we head through the chicane. Once again, we're going to have to do a similar move to what we did last time in 4th gear, trying to rev it, trying to get onto the power and not quite able to get close enough to go for a move on Norris. But as we head down the main straight onto lap number 5, now we're going to try and go to the inside of turn 1 with a bit of DRS. We're going to go side by side, making very careful decision not to make any contact there, running side by side. You can see Sainz is all over the back of us here as we head down towards turn 3. We're going to try and hang it around the outside. Lando doesn't leave us any room. We're going to have to go off track to make sure we don't damage our car on the big yellow curbs there. And Sainz, as I was just saying, he's made the move on both of us. He gets himself up into P4, and he's got a massive gap now as we all squabble for position, as I've rejoined next to these guys, and I do get around the outside of turn 7 there, and we are now up into P5, and hopefully we can pull away from this gap behind as Sergio Perez pulls out alongside Lando Norris. So Lando looking like he's maybe going to start dropping a few positions here as he sort of just gets backed into the pack. You can see he does hold off Perez there, but is Perez going to be able to go for a move on the McLaren? It's going to be interesting to see what happens now. You can see Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari is right behind Perez, so before Perez gets the chance to do anything, Vettel, last second into the sweeper there, pulls up alongside him, and he does get the move done. Doesn't even have to go side by side through turn 11, and he's ahead in the Ferrari. So Vettel making some good moves there after his unfortunate bow out of the podium position on the second last lap last time out in Canada. So he wants to get as good a result as possible. Here you can see there's a yellow flag behind us. Is it anyone in the sort of championship fight here? It doesn't look like it. It looks like it might be an Alpine a bit further back in the packs. We head through the final corner. You can see confirmation, Fernando Alonso. So the Alpine not having a great race at their home Grand Prix here as we head on to lap number 6 now. You can see Sainz has about a 1.6 second gap ahead, so we're going to have to try and chase him down, but we've got Lando Norris just behind us, and he's going to have DRS as we head down the back straight. He's going to close right in and fly past us there, so looks like we're going to be stuck in a little bit of battle with Lando here, and that might mean Sainz has what he needs to pull away from us as we head towards the end of lap 6 here. You can see heading through the left-hander, Lando pulls in for a pit stop. Sainz has also pulled in for a pit stop, so has the leader. I believe that's Valtteri Bottas. That the other Mercedes has already made a pit stop. You can see it is Bottas pitting onto the medium tyres, so yeah, it looks like everyone here going for a 2-stop. We're going to be going for a 2-stop strategy as well. Unfortunately, no safety car coming in to help us out with this pit stop, so it's going to be interesting to see how this race plays out with the guys on the one stop. You can see the next car behind us is Pierre Gasly. He's the leader of the guys that are going to be doing a one stop strategy. So after spinning out of the race lead last time out in Canada, could Gasly maybe be going for a bit of redemption here to get his first race win of the season in that AlphaTauri? And yeah, in front of his home crowd, I'd say that'd be a pretty good place to do it as well. You can see we're in the pit lane at the end of lap number 7 there. Here is Pierre Gasly. He takes the lead of the race, and this is the proper lead of the race, as he's only got one more pit stop to do, just like the rest of us. You can see Raikkonen takes second ahead of Stroll in the other Aston Martin. And then you got the Alpine of Ocon ahead of George Russell, and then the next car behind is Daniel Ricciardo. You can see he's the leader of the guys on the two stops, so it's going to be interesting to see what sort of pace he has as we head back out onto the track now after our pit stop. You can see Sainz has flown by us, so has Norris, so has Hamilton up ahead, that's Bottas, sorry, and Vettel actually gets us as well, and we have to battle Verstappen to make sure we stay ahead there. So these guys have all got the undercut on us, and we're now going to have to try and make some overtakes to get back to where we should be. So unfortunately they're losing a bit of time there, having to do that one extra lap compared to everyone else as we head through turn 5 and 6 now. We are right on the back of the Ferrari. Vettel slowly moving his way up the field, it looks like, this race. But as we head down the back straight, we're going to have DRS. He'll have DRS on Bottas up ahead, but we're a lot closer. We're going to have the slipstream. We're going to pull to the left-hand side as Vettel defends. We're going to go to the right and sweep around the outside of the start of the chicane here, and we do get the move. So this is up into P14, and this is a legitimate P14. We are outside of the points at the moment on this two-stop strategy, but we're all going to have the pace over the guys on the one-stop. So it's going to be a lot of work, a lot of overtakes, but we need to get ourselves further up and into the points as we head through the left-hander here, getting a massive tank slapper there, and luckily it's all asphalt runoff there, so we're able to get back on the track. But well, that was a big moment there for us, just pushing to try and close in on the back of the Mercedes. Obviously a bit of dirty air as well from the Mercedes ahead, so have to make sure we rein it in a bit and not do that anymore, because we did get very close to the wall when we were coming back to rejoin on the track. And you can see Mick Schumacher actually holding us all up at the moment, so we've all bunched together up ahead. Lando Norris is going to go for a move on Schumacher, and at the same time we're going to go to the inside of Valtteri Bottas through turn 10, and are we gonna get ahead before we head into turn 11? Yes, we do. Bottas decides to just sort of slot in behind us here, and we got Mick Schumacher ahead now. We got to try and make a move on the Haas before Lando's able to pull away, but you can see we're just not quite able to get close enough to go for a move on the German. We're gonna have to sit behind, and he's gonna cost us a lot of time here to Lando Norris. You can see Lando has already pulled almost a second on this little three-way battle we got going, and you can see we're going to have a little look to the inside, but not quite able to make the move stick. Bottas actually trying to have a look at us here to see if he can maybe benefit from this. But with the DRS now, we are going to go to the inside of Mick Schumacher, and we are going to get ahead heading in to turn 1. So unfortunately there we did lose a bit of time to Lando ahead, but looks like we are just about within a second still. As we look ahead, Sainz actually making a move on Matsushita. It's good to see Sainz does have the pace to start making some moves on one of these one-stop guys, and hopefully he's able to move himself a bit further up the field and get a good finishing position. He's now chasing down Yuki Tsunoda in the AlphaTauri. We're chasing down Lando Norris as we head through turn 6, and then through turn 7 we are just about within DRS range. You can see we've actually set a purple first sector there, and as we head to the end of lap 10 now, we are right on the back of Norris as we all sort of get banked up behind Matsushita here. Norris is going to go to the move, make a move to the outside of turn 1 there, and he does get the move. At the same time, Sainz up ahead made the same move on Yuki Tsunoda, and now we are right on the back of Matsushita. We have to back out there to make sure we don't run up the back of the Alfa Romeo, and that there has actually cost us the opportunity to make a move into turn number 3. So now we're going to have to sit behind and bide our time through turns 4 and 5 as we now head through the sweeping right-hander here, and actually Matsushita there running a little bit wide, and we're able to get through into P11 now, so only one more position off the points. But you can see up ahead Lando Norris is already all over the back of Yuki Tsunoda in the AlphaTauri. He's not able to make the move into the chicane, but he's going to do, I imagine, what we sort of did to him and get right in behind the car ahead, and he's going to use all his ERS down here. Is he going to get close enough to go for a move to the inside of the sweeper? It doesn't look like he's going to have to sit behind the AlphaTauri, so this is our opportunity now to gain some time on Lando as he's sort of stuck behind the car ahead. You can see heading about halfway through the first sector of lap 12 here, Norris has been held up quite a fair bit, and we are now right on the back of him. You can see Bottas has come through with us as well. He's only a couple tenths behind as we head down the back straight. Sainz has cleared Yuki Tsunoda. So Tsunoda doesn't have DRS, and Lando's going to go for a move around the outside of the chicane there, and Lando gets himself up into P9, and now we're going to get ourselves right behind Yuki Tsunoda down this back straight. We're going to deploy all the ERS we have down here and get right in the slipstream of Yuki Tsunoda. We're to the inside before we get even close to the sweeper, and we're going to go side by side flat out here through turn 10, and we do clear Tsunoda before then heading into turn 11, and now we've got our eyes set on Lando Norris, and we are inside the points here. So looks like, so long as everything else sort of goes our way, it should be a points paying position now that we've made the overtakes that we need to get into the points. It's just about now how many points can we get on this strategy. The 2-stop, as I've said before already, is a slower strategy than the 1-stop. As we head through the final corner, you can actually see that Pierre Gasly's in the pit lane on the track map on the right hand side, on the left hand side there, sorry. P is in the pit lane there on the right side of us on the main straight, and that is us up into P7 for now, but obviously we do have to make another pit stop, and those guys are going to be on fresher tyres. Now you can see here is Gasly, he pulls out in P13 just ahead of Mick Schumacher, and here we are right behind Lando Norris. We're trying to close in on Carlos Sainz up ahead, who's also himself trying to close in on Lewis Hamilton ahead. So at the moment we're all just sort of in these little battles or just trying to catch the car that is just ahead. You can see for Sainz, he's only just about outside of a second from it's now Esteban Ocon ahead of him. But as we head down the main straight, Lando really defending there, pushing us off circuit, but we do keep committed to it, and we're going to go side by side through the chicane. We're then going to go for a cutback as we head onto the second part of this back straight. We're going to use our ERS, but unfortunately we're a little bit too far behind here as we head down the straight. We're not going to be quite close enough to go for a move into turn 10, so we're going to sit right behind. And are we going to be able to maybe sneak a move into turn 11? We look at it, but Lando comes straight across the track there and is having absolutely none of it. You can see looking up ahead, there goes Yuki Tsunoda now into the pit lane, and Valtteri Bottas in the Mercedes pulling to the side of the track. He's slowing down. It looks like he's got a car issue and he's probably going to retire from the race. So Mercedes are having absolutely shocking luck at the moment as we pull to the inside of turn 1 of Lando Norris. Then we make the move up into P4, but Mercedes just cannot seem to catch a break. They're really struggling to get both of their cars to finish a race, and it seems to be that the drivers are just sort of swapping who that finisher is at the moment. You can see now cutting to lap 15 up ahead, Carlos Sainz is right behind Lewis Hamilton now. He has closed that gap to the Mercedes, so Bottas bowing out of the race a little bit earlier on, and now Sainz is going to take a position off of Lewis Hamilton there. He's not quite able to make the move stick into the chicane. He's right behind Lewis Hamilton though as they head out of the chicane onto the second part of the back straight. Is Carlos going to be close enough to go for a move into the sweeping right hand? He's going to go to the outside of Hamilton. That's a very strange decision there, to go to the outside as they go side by side now into turn 11, and Hamilton is able to pull ahead. Sainz has to back out there. He would have been run off the track otherwise, so he's going to have to sit behind, but he's putting the pressure on Lewis Hamilton ahead. You can see Ricciardo's run away from these guys. He's about 3.5 seconds up the road. So yeah, Ricciardo seems to have a lot of pace around this track. He out-qualified everyone by 0.2 of a second, and now he's just running away with the pace that he has. But you can see Sainz into the pit lane on lap 15. Is he going for an undercut on Lewis Hamilton? This could be very interesting as we continue on for another lap. We should be coming into the end of this lap, I believe. I believe our pit stop's supposed to be on lap 16 here. There you go, you can see pit window open, and at the same time Lando's going to dive to the inside there at turn 1, and we just sort of have to sit behind and let it happen, and we aren't really able to go for a crisscross there through turn 1 and 2, but we do actually get very close heading into turn 3. We're going to go for a dive there with the ERS. We make Lando run wide, and we're going to try and set him up here through turns 5, 6, and 7, heading onto the back straight to try and get as best runner possible. You can see we are staying with the McLarens. We head through turn 7 now. We're going to have DRS. We're going to have slipstream. We've got plenty of ERS still. I say that. We've got about 40% ERS as we head down the back straight. We're closing. We're going to go to the inside. Lando defends again, so we're going to go to the outside, and we're going to try and sweep around the outside of the chicane there. We do get the move done. We're back into P3 it is now, obviously, as Sainz made his pit stop, but here we are at the end of lap 16 into the pit lane. You can see Verstappen and Vettel following us in. Lando continues on for another lap. Ricciardo's also continued on for another lap, so McLaren going for some longer runs here this time around. You can see Hamilton's into the pit lane this time around, and he's actually been held up by the three of us there, so we're sort of helping Sainz out there by slowing Hamilton right up. You can see Ricciardo has actually come in this time around, so my mistake, I did get that wrong there, but yeah, we've held Hamilton on up heaps, and you can see as we come out of our pit box, we are right on the rear wing of the Mercedes there. So not only has Hamilton lost heaps of time to Sainz, who's already going through turn 2 now, we're also very, very close to the Mercedes. So again, Mercedes luck just absolutely non-existent here in France. You can see immediately out of the pit lane though, Hamilton's going to try and to make up as much time as possible. He's straight past Lance Stroll there into turn 3. And that sort of puts Stroll off a bit, so we're now right on the back of the Aston Martin heading through turn 6, and we should be pretty safe to make a move out of turn 7 here onto the straight. You can see we're all over the back of the Aston there on some worn-out hards now. You can see we're very easily fully alongside, not even halfway down the straight yet. We're going to be right ahead heading into the chicane, braking nice and late into the left-hander, and we are through into P10, and now we're going to chase down Lewis Hamilton for P9 here in the Grand Prix. Yuki Tsunoda's ahead of us on the hard tyres, so we're going to have to re-overtake the Japanese man there. You can see there is Pierre Gasly leading the race by about 2.8 seconds over Daniel Ricciardo, who's in second place. He is on newer medium tyres, and obviously the McLaren's a much quicker car than the AlphaTauri, so it'll be interesting to see how quickly Ricciardo can chase him down. You can see here's our teammate Carlos Sainz in P3 doing well there. Funnily enough, Sainz is also on hard tyres, so I'm not too sure why that's the case, but you can see Raikkonen's in 4th, Yuki is in 5th, Hamilton's in 6th, with us right behind in P7. So we are chasing down these cars ahead. You can see we've got Lando, the current championship leader, right behind us, and just behind him is the man in second place in the championship, Max Verstappen in the Red Bull, and then Lance Stroll is back in P10 with Sebastian Vettel chasing him down. Vettel hasn't had the best second stint there, and he's now come out in P11, so he's going to have to make a move to get back up into the points position. You can see here's Ocon and here's Perez. So Red Bull having a really tough race here in France. Ferrari's also not having the greatest time, as Leclerc is right down and out of the points. But you can see up ahead, Hamilton and Tsunoda going side by side. There's a bit of contact there between the AlphaTauri and the Mercedes. I wonder if there's a bit of wing damage for either of them here. You can see Tsunoda going really slow through turn 5 and 6, so we're all over the back of the AlphaTauri, and obviously the AlphaTauri has that Honda engine, which is, as I've said already a couple of times this season, that is the slowest engine at the moment. So as we head down the back straight with DRS, Tsunoda has DRS as well, but we're going to swing to the outside here and try and make a move. Not quite able to get the move done heading into the chicane, but you can see getting the crisscross, and we're easily through on Tsunoda there on the corner exit. You can see up ahead, Hamilton is right on the back of Kimi Raikkonen and the Aston Martin. Looking behind, look at this, 3 wide into the right hander. Are they all going to come out of this? Just about they are. It looks like it's going to be Verstappen and Tsunoda. Norris very cleverly backing out there. He was on the very inside. I'd say there was probably going to be some contact if he decided to keep it in, but you can see there's still side by side. Tsunoda is not giving up this position, but Verstappen does get ahead there of the AlphaTauri, and Lando Norris is now right on the back of Yuki Tsunoda. So, wow, that was insane. I'm very surprised there wasn't even any contact between those guys. So you can see looking up ahead now, we are, myself and Hamilton are right on the back of Kimi Raikkonen here, and hopefully it won't take too long for us to make a move on the Iceman in his new car this season in the Aston Martin. Very interesting to see Kimi in that team there. You can see Hamilton's going to make the move down the back straight. He's completely ahead, and we're actually going to try and get the move done as well, and the both of us are completely ahead before getting into the chicane. So yeah, the Kimi didn't have a lot of straight line speed down that back straight. I wonder if maybe he's used all his ERS trying to stay up in P4 there. As we head down the back straight, you can see we're now right behind Hamilton, and finally now Hamilton doesn't have any cars directly ahead that he can benefit from, so it's just going to be the two of us now in a straight one-on-one battle, and hopefully we can make a move on him. But you can see we're going to have a little look. While all that battling was happening, Daniel Ricciardo closed in on Pierre Gasly and took the lead of the French Grand Prix off of the French driver, but Gasly should be very happy to be up in P2 at the moment. Obviously, while that one stop is a faster strategy, it does mean you have an overall slower car pace over the race, but still, he qualified in P11, started the race in P11, and he's currently up in second place, and he's got a pretty decent gap, 8 seconds to Carlos Sainz behind him, so I'd say he's got a very good chance at a podium with only 7 laps remaining in this Grand Prix.
Don't panic just yet, but we've seen a problem at our end. We're looking into it.
And that's not what we want to hear. Jeff telling us that there is a problem with the car, so yeah, that is definitely not an ideal situation here. We're trying to close in on Lewis Hamilton. You can see I'm having a little look through the MFD there.
It looks like like we're experiencing an ERS software glitch. Good news, it looks like the fault has been fixed.
So, an ERS issue, and at the moment, if you have a look down at the bottom right, ERS is enabled, and I'm trying, but I cannot disable the ERS. He did say the issue was fixed, but it's clearly not. I cannot disable ERS.
The issue seems to be fixed, but we will keep monitoring it our end.
And as he says that now, it is possible for me to disable the ERS. So I don't know why he said it was fixed the first time when it clearly wasn't. But, oh well, we're going to have to deal with it now as we make a move on Lewis Hamilton into P4. And we are able to disable DRS there into the chicane. So all good, that problem is solved. A little bit of a scare there for about half a lap. But yeah, luckily it didn't hurt us too much as we were still able to make a move on the 7-time world champion into P4. And now, are we able to maybe chase down our teammate and once again take the final podium position off him there as we head into the right-hander though? You can see on lap 23 here, Hamilton is all over the back of us. We have a horrible run through through turn 11 there, and Hamilton is all over the back of us. You can see looking at Max Verstappen though, and he spins it round at turn 12 there on the off-camber corner. A very easy corner to do that. Obviously, we had our tank slap earlier on in the race, but that's a huge shame there for Max Verstappen, who's obviously trying to close down the lead in the championship to Lando Norris. He's in second in the championship at the moment, and he was ahead of Lando at that point before he spun, so he was looking good to do that. But unfortunately there, he's not going to be getting any points by the looks of it this race. You can see Hamilton making a move of us into turn 1. And we're going to try and fight it. We're going to go side by side out of turn 2 towards turn 3. A little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact there as we head into turn 3. We're going to go side by side, and Lewis has a massive lock up there into turn 3, and that allows us to get back completely ahead as we head through the turn 5, 6 section now. But he's going to be right behind us, and he's going to have DRS here on lap 24 heading down the back straight. You can see already he's pulling out to go for a move on us. We're going to go defensive to try and block him into the chicane, but you look at that, look at the speed the DRS gives you there, and he's completely ahead before we even get to the chicane. So we're going to pull him behind in the slipstream and try and get as close as possible down this back straight, but unfortunately there, he just had an amazing run out of the chicane, and he's pulled right ahead. But here on lap 25 now, look at that with the DRS we have now. Obviously we brought a DRS upgrade into this round, and yeah, you can see working very well there. We had a heap of overspeed on him down that back straight, but now down the second half of the back straight after the chicane, we're going to go side by side. No DRS on this straight here. Heading in to turn 10, we're going to go side by side. We're on the outside here, making even more wheel-to-wheel contact there with the 7-time champion. We're going to try and hang it around the outside, but we run wide off the track there, and Lando Norris is able to make the move through on us there as we take a bit of a venture off track. So we're down to P6, Lando now up into P5, and he's looking to make a move on Lewis Hamilton and try and extend his lead by even more now that Max has had that spin there. So Lando, yeah, definitely benefiting out of that, and he's right on the back of Lewis. He's not waiting around. He's not wasting this opportunity. He's going to go off track around the outside of Lewis Hamilton into the chicane. What a move from Lando. Absolutely committed to getting this position. They're going to go side by side down the back straight. You can see we're just waiting in behind, trying to get a move. We're going to try and follow Lando through here. We're going to get right in the slipstream, almost pushing him through turn 10 there. But now we're side by side with Hamilton. Lando is through into P4. Heading through the right-hander, and we're still side by side with Hamilton. I do not want to lose this position. I've fought so hard to get ahead, and Lando's just got the move done nice and easy. I'm not happy about that, as we're still side by side with the Mercedes, and eventually we are through on Lewis Hamilton and back into P5 now. So that is so frustrating that we've spent so many laps trying to fight Lewis to get that position, and then Lando just comes through and takes the position off of both of us there, and then we do finally get ahead of Lewis Hamilton. So now we're going to try and close in on Lando up ahead, but you can see he is just gone. He's just got the pace on us here on the final lap of the Grand Prix. We're having a look at the cars ahead. Here is Daniel Ricciardo coming through the final couple corners, and he's going to take his second win of the season, the first driver to get more than one win so far this season. So it's only going to be 5 winners still out of 6 races, but very well done race. Heaps of pace from Daniel Ricciardo. He takes the win here in the French Grand Prix. Pierre Gasly is going to come through and finish on the podium in second place at his home race there. I'd say that's a fair bit of redemption there, considering he's in an AlphaTauri after Canada last time out. You can see our teammate Carlos Sainz finally gets his first podium of the season there. Lando finishes P4, and we're going to finish P5 after a banger race.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
A great race then, and a fantastic victory here at Paul Ricard. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a drive with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations, and it's going to be McLaren picking up the winner's trophy. Congratulations to the entire team for that fantastic performance.
So here we are with the results for the French Grand Prix. Daniel Ricciardo taking an amazing win there on the two-stop strategy. He just had the pace to make up that deficit and get the win ahead of Pierre Gasly, the lead driver on the one-stop. You can see the next driver on the one-stop was actually Kimi Raikkonen all the way down in P9. So Gasly doing a very good job there, showing a lot of pace to still finish up on the podium position. Sainz doing well to finish in P3, and then obviously Lando Norris, the current championship leader, not only gets himself up in a P4, but also takes the fastest lap for that extra point in the championship, which could prove crucial by the end of the season. You can see he leads the Drivers' Championship now by 15 points over his teammate Daniel Ricciardo, who's now got himself back up into second place, and it's once again a McLaren 1-2 in the Drivers' Championship. Lewis Hamilton moves himself up into third place now in the Mercedes, only 27 points off of Lando Norris, and then Verstappen's down to fourth. Bottas is in fifth, and then it's ourselves and Sainz in sixth and seventh. So we're doing pretty good here in our second season. Sure, we have the pace to be up there winning races, but the field is so tight at the moment that even after I'd say we've had a pretty good season, we're down in P6. But at the moment, I'm pretty happy to be fighting here, and we're only a few points off of the likes of the two Mercedes and Max Verstappen there. So we could easily be going for P3 after a couple more rounds here and maybe a bit more luck. So looking towards the constructors now, you can see we are in P3 fighting Red Bull there very closely. Max Verstappen's spin there actually proving very crucial there in how the constructors is playing at the moment. They're only that's 5 points behind us in the championship, and he definitely lost 5 points worth of positions after that spin. So massive shame there for Red Bull, but we're going to take what we can get, and you can see there very small activity to get done there in between races. You can see we're going to put in a major weight redistribution upgrade. That won't be coming in time for Austria. That'll be for Hungary. Hopefully it doesn't fail, and that is everything. Not a lot of admin work after this round, but a very, very good round for us, I'd say, with a P3 and a P5. But if that is all for today, if you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this, and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.